Hare Krishna. Now see the sound whether it's there or not. Please check the sound. All right. So I was telling, I think the audio, the live audio was not there. I was telling this Amisham is here it is translated as of these inhabitants of Bharata-varsha. But actually that is not the meaning of the word Amisham itself. So it's a contextual meaning. Otherwise Amisham is actually of these. But because it's in the context of the inhabitants of Bharat-varsha, it is translated like this. So when we are reading Prabhupada's books, we have to be a little attentive to understand these things. Okay. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. That means the whole verse chanting also did not come out. Okay. We'll do the verse chanting. But I don't think we'll do the word to word. Aho Amisham. No. Etadeva hi deva gayanti. Aho Amisham kimakari shobhanam. Prasanna esham sviduta swayam hari. Jairjanma labdham nrishu bharata jire. Mukunda sevao paikam sprihahina. Next time if the audio is not coming away, actually they put it in the comments, but I think here also we need to check. Immediately we must start to check. Otherwise this is it's very irritating and time consuming, waste. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: since the human form of life is the sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. How wonderful it is for these human beings to have been born in the land of Bharata-varsha. They must have executed pious acts of austerity in the past, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human births in Bharata-varsha to execute devotional service, but these human beings are already engaged there. Please repeat. Since the human form of life is the sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven Okay. Now the mic is not muted. Let's see now. How is the audio? I knew what was happening. Since the human form of life is a sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. How wonderful it is for these human beings who have been born in the land of Bharata-varsha. They must have executed pious acts of austerity in the past, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? We demigods can only aspire to achieve human births in Bharata-varsha to execute devotional service, but these human beings are already engaged there. I think we won't do the repetition. Purport. These facts are further explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adilila 9:41. भारत भूमिते হইল मनुष्य जन्म जार जन्म सार्थक करे करो परो उपकार. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharat-varsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. There are many facilities in India, Bharat-varsha, for executing devotional service. In Bharat-varsha, all the acharyas contributed their experience, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally appeared to teach the people of Bharat-varsha how to progress in spiritual life and be fixed in devotional service to the Lord. From all points of view, Bharata-varsha is a special land where one can very easily understand the process of devotional service and adopt it to make his life successful. If one makes his life successful in devotional service and then preaches devotional service in other parts of the world, people throughout the world will actually benefit. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Why? Okay, so here Srila Prabhupada shifted the meaning of Bharat-varsha to India, the present day India. Although this whole chapter is about the Varshas of Jambudvipa, the Bhumandala, the vast plain of earth, of which in which there are 7 islands, concentric circular islands, punctuated with 7 seas, 7 oceans, and the oceans are mentioned I want the verse number. What is the 5:133. Ksharodekshu rasoda suroda ghrutoda kshiroda dadhi mandoda shuddhodah sapta jaladhayah सप्तद्वीपपरिखा इवाभ्यन्तरद्वीपसमाना एकैकस्येन यथानुपूर्वं सप्तस्वपि बहिर्द्वीपेषु पृथक् परित उपकल्पितास्तेषु जम्वादिषु बर्हिष्मतीपतिर् अनुव्रतानात्मजान् आग्निध्रेध्मजिह्वा यज्ञबाहु हिरण्यरेतो गृहपृष्ठ मेधातिथि वीतिहोत्र संज्ञान यथा संख्येनैकैकस्मिन्नेकम् एवाधिपतिं विदधे. So especially the first part, Sharoda, Ikshurasoda, Suroda, Ghrutoda, Kshiroda, Dadhimandoda, Suddhoda, Sapta Jalataya. So here, the situation of the Bhumandala is explained here, the geography. The seven oceans respectively contain salt water, sugarcane juice, liquor, clarified butter, which is ghee, milk, emulsified yogurt, and sweet drinking water. All the islands are completely surrounded by these oceans, and each ocean is equal in breadth to the island it surrounds. Maharaj Priyavrata, the husband of Queen Barhishmati, gave sovereignty over these islands to his respective sons, namely Agnidra, Idhmajihva, Yajnabahu, Hiranyareta, Ghritaprishta, Medhatithi, and Vitihotra. Thus they all became kings by the order of their father. Closed already? Yeah. So, the Dvipas, Dvipa means island. So, Dvipa is island. So, all these islands are there, and then the respective oceans are there. Now, nobody can enter. So, this is the situation of the Bhumandala. But in this Bharata-varsha, which is one of the 9 varshas of Jambudvipa, so Jambudvipa is the central island, right at the center. So there is the Mount Meru, and around this, all islands, all the 9 varshas of the Jambudvipa are situated, of which Bharat-varsha is one of them. Now, of which the earth that we know is a part. It's not even the complete Bharat-varsha, because in the Vishnu Puran, there is a description of Bharat-varsha, the extent of the Bharat-varsha. It is mentioned that the ocean on the south and the Himalayas on the north are the limits of the Bharata-varsha, and it is 72,000, and how many yojanas? I think 9,000 yojanas or something, which comes to 72,000 miles, which is 3 times the circumference of the earth. So how come? Now the description from Himalayas to the ocean sounds like India, but then there are 72,000. So of course there are different ways of explaining that. The shrinkage of the land, like even the distance between the Bharata, I mean the current India and Lanka during the time of Ramayana was 800 miles, 100 yojanas, but now it is not that much. So in this way, there is some movement of the land masses, and also the height of the Himalayas also is very much less, significantly lesser than what is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam calculates the Himalayan height as 80,000 miles, 10,000 yojanas high. Our Mount Everest is only 8,800 kilometers, not even miles. Miles means it will be about 5 miles. What about 80,000 miles, and this is 5 miles? Almost negligible compared to the... So what is happening? So there are subtle regions of these mountains which are not visible or accessible to our current modern civilization, and such descriptions are given in the, for example, in Madhvacharya's life, where he met Vyasadev in Badrinath, but he was in the Uttara Badri. which is part of Badrinath, which is not accessible to humans at all. And even the Pandavas from the Himalayan regions, they went up to the heavenly planets through corridors which are not accessible to us. So there is much more to this world than what we can see. Now we can fly over the Himalayas, but still it's like as if there is nothing there, but the height can still be there in the subtle regions, and which is not accessible in the gross region. Now scientists will say this is pseudoscience and stuff like that, but they don't know many things. So anyway, but here Prabhupada shifted the meaning of Bharata-varsha to mean India, to make it contextual to us, because the context is Bharata-varsha, there is this devotional service to Krishna, and that is especially concentrated in our present Bharata-varsha. Even, for example, 100 years back, Bharata-varsha included Pakistan, Bangladesh, Myanmar, even 100 years back. So, what we identify today as Bharata-varsha, even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said Bharata Bhumite, Bharata-varsha was not one country as it is now. It was many, many kingdoms. So it was not one particular country he was mentioning. It was not a nationalistic proclamation. Oh, he was patriotic or nationalistic. No. So Bharata Bhumi actually is this culture, this culture of devotional service. Of course, that's why Prabhupada also explained Mahabharata as the greater Bharat. Of course, Tattva Sandarbha defines Mahabharata as Mahatvad Bharavatvad hi Mahabharatamiti Smritah. It means the weighty literature which is fully pregnant with so many spiritual instructions and history, great history, is called Mahabharata. But this is the other meaning which Prabhupada also mentioned, that the greater India, the greater Bharat. So eventually, just as the whole planet under Parikshit Maharaj was under Krishna consciousness, and eventually culture faded and disintegrated, and now the land today known as India has some of that. Most of the remains of what was the Vedic culture. That is also declining due to influence of propaganda by the Western cultures. So in this way, the understanding of or the definition of Bharat-varsha is being redefined according to time. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also mentioned Bharata Bhumite, and it meant the land of Bharat-varsha. At that time, Bharat-varsha. Which included many kingdoms. Now, he not only said like this, Bharata Bhumite. In fact, he also said, let me see, that was Adi 941. If we go to 741, is it? No. If we go to 731, 736. No, 743. I'm gambling with numbers. No. All of the universe. Oh, is that 9? No. Where did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say that I want all the people of the universe to do this preaching? How come I forgot? 936? Yeah. Yeah. So Adi 936, just 5 verses before this, he says, Ataeva ami agnya dilu sabakare, jaha taha prema phalo deho jare tare. Therefore, I order every man within this universe to accept this Krishna consciousness movement and distribute it everywhere. So, this is not only for Indians, but for everyone to adopt and preach this Krishna consciousness. And here in today's verse, the Devatas, the demigods in heavenly planets, they are saying that the people of Bharat-varsha are very fortunate. This is also explained in the 11th canto. So 11, 5, 38, 39, 40. कृतादिषु प्रजाराजन् कला विच्छन्ति संभवम् कलौ खलु भविष्यन्ति नारायणपरायणाः क्वचित् क्वचिन्महाराज द्रविडेषु च भूरिशः द्रविडेषु च द्रविडेषु द्रविडेषु च भूरिशः ताम्रपर्णी नदी यत्र कृतमाला पयस्विनी कावेरी च महापुण्या प्रतीची च महानदी ये पिबन्ति जलं तासां मनुजा मनुजेश्वर प्रायो भक्ता भगवती वासुदेवे मलाशयाः. Translation: My dear king, the people of Satyayuga and other ages eagerly desire to take birth in this age of Kali. Since in this age there will be many devotees of the Supreme Lord Narayana. These devotees will appear in various places but will be especially numerous in South India. O Master of Men, in the age of Kali, those persons who drink the waters of the holy rivers of Dravida Desh, such as the Tamraparani, Kritamala, Payasvani, the extremely pious Kaveri, and the Pratichi Mahanadi, will almost all be pure-hearted devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudeva. So this is the glory of current day India. But it does not mean that just because I was born in India, I am suddenly very special. No, I am special only if the opportunity is special. But if I take advantage of the opportunity, then my life will become special. Otherwise, we can be in the dham, in the holy dham, and still be completely sinful. And we are not considered residents of the dham if mentally we are not in the dham. If we are not Krishna conscious, then we are actually not in Vrindavan. But if we are Krishna conscious, even if we are in hell, we are in Vrindavan. So Vrindavan is not just a geographical location, it's the bhava. What makes this unit 0302 different from 0502, where there is kung fu going on? So there, the same concrete, same flooring, same ingredients materially, but the bhava is what makes it different. Even distance, if we calculate the building beside, I mean this eating house, the hawker center, is just like stone's throw away from here. But because they are not in the mode of goodness and mode of pure goodness, mode of ignorance, tamasic. So although they come until there, so many people come there, they don't come here. It is very far for them. They don't even know the whereabouts. Whereas during our Rath Yatra, people come from different countries which are geographically much farther, but because of bhava, much closer. And they are admitted, but the others are not admitted. But our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, as in the verse it is quoted, Bharata bhumite manusya janma hoile jar janma sarthak kari karo paropakar. Janma sarthak kari means make our life successful. Arthaka, janma sa arthaka kari. That means we have to get rid of the anarthas. Artha means goal. Anartha means that which distracts us from the goal. those which are not actually goal, but distractions. So anartha, everything that moves us away from Krishna consciousness is actually an anartha. So janma sarthaka kori. So that means we have to be firmly established in our Krishna conscious activities. What is that Krishna conscious activities? Like today morning we sang that song. Shravana Kirtana Smarana Vandana Pada Sevana Dasare Pujana Sakhijana Atmani Vedana Govinda Dāsa Abhilashare. So the engagement in these processes of Bhagavad Dharma is actually Artha. And this is Prahlad Maharaj says very nicely. Many times quoted this verse. We're not coming to the verse. Come on. Okay. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padanam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasam Sakhyam Atmani Vedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnu Bhaktischain Navalakshana Kriyeta Bhagavatyadha Tanmanye Dhitamutamam. So all these 9 processes, hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the Lord, lotus feet of the Lord, Archana, doing puja, offering prayers, becoming a servant, considering Krishna one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. So, we can engage in all these things if we take to Krishna's advice in Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is actually accepting Krishna as one's best friend and becoming best friend of Krishna. Best friend means Suhrit. Suhrit means one who is actually well-wisher. And he's not just a well-wisher, but he comes down. Wishing means I can, passively I can sit down somewhere and wishing well for you. In a way. But he's not just a well-wisher, but well-actor. He acts on it. So he comes down from his spiritual station or abode, and he comes here. Yada yada dharmasya glanir bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. And then what he does? Paritrana sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So he comes to establish dharma, protect the devotees, annihilate the demons. He comes, he brings his devotees down when he comes, and then he ensures that his activities, his victorious activities, are recorded in the scriptures. The activities of his pure devotees are recorded in the scriptures, and such scriptures are distributed, translated by acharyas in local languages of the time. Now currently English is the main language. Previously it used to be Sanskrit and many other languages. Persian used to be another main language. Now currently English. Chinese is also a very big language. So these may shift, but Krishna is making so many arrangements for us to stay connected with the message of Krishna. We have read in the, I think Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day lecture of Bhakti Siddhanta that we read, that the secret the secret of Krishna consciousness is not there, it's not in Sanskrit. Yes. There is no language in the world that can adequately describe Krishna or his devotional service. So all arrangements of letters and alphabets are only material. So whether it's a sophisticated language like Sanskrit or a barbaric language like English, both are inadequate in describing Krishna. But only when it is uttered by a pure devotee, even through imperfect sound vibration, Krishna consciousness can be conveyed. The signs of Krishna can be conveyed. Otherwise, even in Sanskrit, one cannot understand. So many people misunderstood Bhagavad Gita, even though they may be Sanskrit scholars. So, one who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. Such a person, learned person means, this is the thing. What happens when we get jnana from the spiritual master? Yajñātva na punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanyaseshani drakshasyatman yatho mayi. Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living entities are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine. So he sees this. So when he sees this, what he does then? He preaches. Because he sees, okay, I have understood the meaning of my life, and I'm happy engaging in Krishna consciousness. Why should others be deprived of this opportunity, especially in human life when they can do something about this? So that is the basis for preaching. If we are not convinced about Krishna consciousness, we cannot be effective preachers. Even, even for distributing books, there have been examples of people who have distributed books, and sometimes many of them, even thousands, and they knew nothing, and they did not read. In fact, Prabhupada was scolding many disciples many times that these books are not only for selling and making money for the temple, these devotees should read. So one may ask, how can then one distribute thousands of books without reading them? Well, in the course of book distribution on the street, you're basically showing him 2 lines, 3 lines, or some pictures and then selling. You're saying something and selling. But Prabhupada said, I think, I do not know exactly where, he said, I think recently somebody shared in the groups, that if we just sell without reading them, then it will become material activity, just for some economics, finances for the temple. The real thing that makes the temple a temple is when we actually associate with the Shravan Kirtan process, and that is explained here. Shravan Kirtan Jale Kore Sechan. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, he should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in his heart. If he waters the seed gradually by the process of Shravan and Kirtan, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. So to live with devotees or to live in a temple means to associate with the Shravan Kirtan process. So we can have darshan, but if there is no Shravan Kirtan, then it does not function as a temple. Because we have so many temples in India, which darshan is going on. Big temples, big queue system for darshan. But they're coming out and they're not knowing anything about God. Shravan is not there, Kirtan is not there. Kirtan means not just simply sitting down singing only, without any understanding. Understanding also should be there. Why Prabhupada took so much effort in writing books? Because he wants us to understand. So, when we propagate Krishna consciousness, there is a saying, I think who said it, a very recent productivity philosopher. He said, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So if we move away from that, and if our main thing becomes something else, then we lose what is the main thing. So the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. So books has to be the center of our movement. Otherwise, um, it will quickly degenerate. And Prabhupada said, how long can you keep saying Haribol, Haribol, or how long can you keep belling? We call this belling, ringing bells and doing puja. Yes, it is. It should be done. But if we just do that without reading, without studying, without preaching, without ensuring, so that's why this verse, you see, 435. If we have obtained real knowledge, then we will see that everybody is a part and parcel of Krishna. So the reason for their suffering is that now they are separated. You see, that is also explained. 15:7. Mamayvamsho jivaloke jivabhutah sanatanah manah shasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So people are struggling. So they have to be given this thing. So we should not be proud of being an Indian. Many Indians are proud. Oh, proud to be Indian. Mera Bharat Mahan, Jai Hind. All these things they will say. And nothing they will do about it. They don't even take advantage of their land, nothing. So this is useless. We have to always be concerned with the essence of things, not the externals. So the essence of Bharat-varsha is Krishna consciousness. And that's why demigods are glorifying Bharat-varsha. They are not glorifying because there are some nice mountains, rivers, or rivers are mentioned. They have better rivers in the heavenly planets. They have better mountains, better gardens, everything better. So why are they mentioning our land? It is Krishna consciousness. So if that is lost, then what is the use of this Bharat-varsha? So now we have to make our life successful and preach. And successful means does not mean that I become first of all Mahabhagavat and then I will start to preach. No. As soon as we have understood the importance of Krishna consciousness, whatever we have understood, we have to tell others. And telling others means we, even if he talks to us, he may talk for a few minutes. So our talking should be to get the book in his hand. Our talking should be to get the book into his hand. That is preaching. So the books he has to read. And we have to create a culture where reading is, how to say, not only encouraged, but it should become a part of a personality of every devotee, part of his character. I'm actually thinking, there was, in ISKCON, there is one, I read about one WhatsApp group, or I don't know what group. So they have this thing called Chad. It's a modern word, Gen Z word. Chad means, built man, right? But they use it for chapter a day, a chapter a day. One chapter a day they read, and then they post, okay, I read today. So it's like accountability. We need accountability. Now, recently I've been asking every devotee, are you reading? How much you're reading? Somebody has to push us. Somebody has to push, otherwise we're not going to do it. Now, unfortunately, I've said this a few times in the last few lectures that sadhana, when we say sadhana, we always talk about 16 rounds, four principles, and waking up for Mangalarti. Maybe. That also may be waking up for Mangalarti. 16 rounds, four principles is what we take as basic sadhana. But that's not. That's not basic sadhana. Basic sadhana involves waking up for Mangalarti and doing the whole morning program, deity worship, the class, reading, apart from, of course, chanting Hare Krishna, taking only Krishna Prasadam, preaching, going out distributing books. All this is part of sadhana. We are not distributing books to help them. We are distributing books to purify ourselves. Prabhupada is distributing books to help us. He distributed books to help us because he's already pure. In our case, we are doing it to purify ourselves, and the process is so nice that they also benefit, of course. But when we distribute books, when we meet with people, and when we always engage in handing out the mercy of Krishna to others, then we are constantly reminded of Krishna. And book distribution is not simply an event when we go out and then only we do. We should always think of it. Anybody we know, like if there is some plumber who is coming to our thing and doing some plumbing work, sell him a book, not give him, sell him a book. So everybody who comes to us in whatever capacity, maybe there may be contractors, maybe there are vendors, maybe they are postman, or just a neighbor, or somebody whom we see passing by every day, whoever it is. We wouldn't want to make friends with such people, but for Krishna we should make friends. We should be friendly to them, not simply to gossip, but to see how I can distribute a book to him. And always carrying books with us wherever we go. So that's what we have to think about always. How to give, and not only books, I mean, after that there has to be training, after that there has to be culture. That I was saying about this group, where they read every day and then they post, okay, today I read this, and then every devotee will like report, I have done this, I have read this chapter. So one chapter a day. So like that, we have to create a culture where these things are encouraged. And it should be a mandatory thing that devotees must read every day. Janma sarthak karo paropakar. How can we do paropakar? How can we think of paropakar? If our swarthagati is not fulfilled yet. Coming to Krishna consciousness, reading books and coming, taking initiation, and thinking that now I'm going back to Godhead. Where does it work like that? If I get admitted in the school, am I a graduate of the school? How can I think I'm graduate? So that is not anything. Initiation doesn't mean anything if we don't take up the process. Take to the process. There was one lady who was coming here, one Gujarat lady, and she was doing service so nicely. Every day she would come, so dedicated. She would help in the kitchen, wash all things, everything for year or even more. She was just very, very dedicated to that. And then she was chanting 16 rounds, everything. So was given initiation. That was her last day in the temple. She never came back. She never came back after that. Because I don't know what she heard, because in initiation all your sins will go away, this thing. Maybe she wanted to get, what? And then she thought, I am now pure. Okay. That the initiation, which means beginning, was the end of her spiritual life. That means there's not proper understanding. Initiation, as the word suggests, is just the beginning, the real beginning. Why it is beginning? One may think, no, before initiation I was doing this and that, so many services I've been hearing, I've been chanting. No. Initiation means when the disciple says, yes, I will do. Karishye vachanam tava, when Arjuna said, then Krishna stopped speaking. That was the end. After that, Krishna did not speak anything. The next 5 verses are Sanjay speaking, oh, I am feeling very great, and he's glorifying Bhagavad Gita. Krishna did not speak anymore. Finish. That is initiation. Prabhupada said in the 1975 conversation in Hawaii that our preaching means to get people to the point of Karishye vachanam tava. Distributing books is the first step. Adav shraddha, tato sadhu sangha, atha bhajana kriya. Bhajana kriya is where he gets initiated and engages in all kinds of services and takes up the vow of following the order of the spiritual master. So the starting, Adav shraddha, when the spiritual master starts preaching, when one gets a book. So that's the spiritual master has started his job already. But the disciple must also now solidify his vow. Yes, I will follow. Otherwise, just one-sided and not two-sided relationship. What is that? You give knowledge, I will go somewhere and serve. No, I must serve. I must surrender to that person who gave me knowledge. Um, So, Karishe Vachanam Tava, when person says, not just says, actually means it. That is what this initiation ceremony is. I will do whatever you say. Whatever you say. Of course, Prabhupada gave a small thing, 16 rounds following 4 principles, but we should know that that is just the initiation, admission. A real disciple means, the perfect example of disciple is Prabhupada himself. His guru said, oh, you know English, you preach in the English speaking world. Our first meeting. Sarthaka Kori later, you Paropakar first. So, of course, eternal souls, they know, eternally liberated souls, they know when they meet each other. But even then, even otherwise, you may say, you may think that, oh, because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur could see that this is a pure devotee here, Prabhupada, and therefore he said, no, he would have said this to everybody that you preach. But Prabhupada took it seriously. The instruction is there for everyone. So he said, and Prabhupada took it seriously, and therefore the result was there. It's like, when you nursery is when the seeds are planted, and some germinate properly, some don't. And then the good ones are taken and transplanted in the proper field. So the spiritual master, he throws his seeds everywhere. The books are actually fruits. And once one reads, then in the fruit there is seeds. So however many people read the book, the seed is planted in their heart. Bhaktilata Bij. So in that Bij, if the heart is not fertile yet, then it will not. Sometimes in the desert, actually this was done in the Hiroshima Nagasaki when the nuclear explosion happened. Years later, when it happened, everything was destroyed, all life was gone. Years later, decades later, life started back again. Even the gas tragedy, Bhopal gas tragedy is in Europe also there was one. So when that happened, also life was wiped out. But after many decades, with proper conditions, life again started. So that means there was some bija there, some seed was there. Land wasn't fertile. But when the land became fertile, in proper conditions, again the growth started. So in this way, the books may go, sometimes people say when we ask them, okay, you distribute books. No, I don't want to give this Bhagavad Gita to someone who does not respect it. They say like this, I want to give someone who respects it. No, you respect it first. If you have any respect, you will give the book to others, whether he respects it or not. Because even if he does not respect it now, once the book has gone to him, it acts. One day it will act. If the land is barren now, never mind, the seed, let it go there. One day when he will get depression or something will happen, then he will say, okay, you know what, Bhagavad Gita is there on the shelf, I want some solace. You open the book and start, your life changes. Or he may not do anything. He may give it to somebody else. Or his family member may read. Who knows how it will work? Who knows? So, we cannot, we do not have full control over how it works. Our business is to get the book out and then create conditions where the barren land can be made into fertile land, and that is the temple, where association with devotees will, just like land, if there is sufficient manure and nutrients, then eventually it will become fertile. So by association with devotees, if I read the book, okay, I want to surrender, what should I do? Okay, there is a place where you can associate with other people who are surrendered, and that's the temple. And therefore, here, when they come here, the people here should be surrendered. If here we are doing gossip, if here we are not surrendering and doing something, then that is not very inspiring. So, janma sarthak kari karo paropakar. If we take this process seriously, then automatically other people, when they see us, they take it seriously. When they see the character, when they see everybody, even dhira dhira janapriya, they may be sober people or mad people, crazy people, materialistic, but it doesn't matter. When they see devotee with good qualities, they eventually become attracted. So we have to read and live by the books. We have to know every single nuance and argument, not only to combat others when preaching, but to prod and refine our own understanding, our own surrender, our own um, how seriously we take to this, our surrender to Krishna. So there's always unlimited scope for improvement, and at every level, the same books we may read, and we may get different realizations, deeper realizations. Something which we would have just read, the same thing reading with a different level of realization will reveal different meanings. Nana artha koy. कृष्ण तुल्य भागवत विभु सर्वाश्रय प्रत्यक्षरे प्रतिश्लोके प्रत्यक्षरे नाना अर्थ कोय. Nana artha, unlimited meanings are there. So therefore, it is said that the demigods are also praising. Of course, it is their humility also that they praise Bharata-varsha, because actually they are very Krishna conscious. But not every. From there also they can fall down. The leaders may be more Krishna conscious, but they also have been, in Puranas there are so many descriptions where demigods were bewildered and they could not understand the greatness of Krishna. They made mistakes. So these things may happen even in the demigod planets, heavenly planets. So they are saying, and Prabhupada also said this in a morning walk, that this earth has just the right mix of comfort and distress. Because if there is too much comfort, too much happiness materially, sense gratification available, then we will think that life is all right, Why do I become serious about spiritual life? I mean, life is all right. Why should I? So that is a problem. And if it is too painful, like in hell, like in the Prabhupada Sikshamrita we read, Prabhupada said in India the problem is they are poor. So their whole life is, whole psyche, their whole thought process is how to feed my belly and feed my family's belly. So if they're preoccupied with that, they hardly have any time for Krishna consciousness. So if there is too much suffering and if there is too much bodily pain, in hell it is fully bodily pain. So if we get a little headache, we are hardly able to chant. So imagine in the hell, how much pain will be there. Repeatedly or constantly being tortured. Body being opened up by vultures and boiling oil. How can we think of Krishna? So too much pain, we cannot really think of Krishna as too much sense gratification, also we cannot remember Krishna. So earth is just the right balance of it. So we are constantly checked. There is a check constantly, so that we are kept on track. So that's actually good for us. So, but it's only good if we take advantage of that opportunity. If we throw away this golden opportunity of becoming Krishna conscious, the regret that we will live with in the future, having known that we had a great opportunity which we threw away, there's no pain bigger than such regret. And that's what happens when one goes to hell. One is reminded of all the opportunities one got during one's lifetime when he met devotees, but he did not take it up. He will be reminded of all those instances where he had the opportunity when he did not take the step forward. um, so let's make our life successful and share this knowledge with others. Easy, distributing books. Just have to get them to get the book, and of course, um, guide them in how to live by the book and how to become a devotee. And especially this 1 month, starting today, we have this book distribution marathon until Deepavali. We have a stall, and we request all the devotees to come and take the opportunity to distribute books. And in fact, we have to have a seminar on that, actually, book distribution. All get together and actually work with a concerted effort how to expand book distribution within Singapore and then beyond. First, Singapore needs a lot of work to be done. The Chinese are practically completely unaware of this movement, and that's bad. And that's bad. That means we are failing. Like I just said that this hawker center people are coming, but they're far from here. But we should. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is patra विचार नाही, पात्र विचार नाही, नाही स्थाना स्थान, जय जहां पाए तहां करे प्रेम दान. In distributing love of Godhead, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates did not consider who was a fit candidate and who was not, nor where such distribution should or should not take place. They made no conditions. Wherever they got the opportunity, the members of the Panchatattva distributed love of God. So distributed, and we can just replace this with books, because the books are fruits of love of Godhead, ecstasies of Prabhupada. So we have to distribute books wherever we get opportunity. We all should take up this in great earnestness, this distribution of Prabhupada's books. So let's work towards that. Of course, a lot of things can be said about Bharata-varsha and what is Janma Sarthaka. I think we'll stop here. Any questions or comments on this topic?
So, do you say that anybody who was born on this intake is fortunate, like considering this birth?
What is that?
Now, the confusion is anybody who was born on this intake is fortunate and considering or only here.
So the question is anybody born on this earth is considered a Bharatavasi or only the one in India? Well, if you go by the Puranic descriptions of Bharata-varsha, everybody is a Bharata-varshvasi, Bharatiya. But today, the present day India is Bharata-varsha, and that's where the culture is still prevalent. And even Pakistan, which used to be part of Bharat-varsha, all traces of Bharat-varsha are almost gone. So we can make our whole world Bharat-varsha again by becoming Krishna conscious. Well, that's why I showed 936. All people of the universe. They're actually not. Sanatan Dharma means what for everybody. Okay, the comment section is on fire. Some Muhammad Khalil is on a rampage. Don't comment before knowing anything. So I will see any relevant question here. Okay, so Khalil says, get to reality. The true word of God is preserved in one book, Quran. So Quran says, there is a verse in Quran which says you should respect every other scripture of God. In Quran it is there. So God is so powerful that He can give His truth in many ways, in many books. And if you read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, you will see that the same truth about God, which is there in Quran, which is there in Bible, which is there in Torah, Old Testament, New Testament, is there in our books also. And there are details in our books that is nowhere to be found. It is the apotheosis, the pinnacle of all religious study comes at the Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, you read, we request him to read actually. You should read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Then you will see that there is no difference of opinion, but just that you have greater detail of knowledge, much greater detail of knowledge in our books. um, okay, so anyway, I think any relevant questions are there? Muhammad Khalil is saying, I like to know more about Srimad Bhagavatam. Well, good. So you can you can buy one set of Bhagavatam from nearest Hare Krishna temple in your place, and you can start reading. You will appreciate, any sane man will appreciate that, the eternal truth of all religious systems and information about God, detailed information about God, is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. Govind is asking, why do you sell books to a plumber? Poor guy wants money. But he has hand phone, he has TV in his house. Huh? Huh? And how much is the book? $5, $2? Small book he can start. He has enough. Poor does not need to read books. Why we should not sell? He's buying so many things. And selling means what? We are making any profit and we're living a lavish life? No. Printing more books, distributing more. Everybody can make money but the temple. Is that your point? Why? Plumber can make money off the temple, but temple cannot make money off the plumber. What nonsense. I mean, he has a leak which we are trying to fix. He may fix the leak in the bathroom. We will fix a leak in his heart. We are also plumbers. Transcendental plumbers. So, what is this nonsense? We can donate book if it helps him. No. If you pay attention. When we pay for it, then we pay attention. And also, it is double benefit. If you gift a book to somebody, it's a one benefit that the book has gone to him. If he pays for it, the double benefit, because he has paid, so he has contributed to the mission, and he also is getting knowledge. Whereas he is getting knowledge only if he get a book, he is not paying. So doing seva is also important. And also in our culture, dakshina should be there, guru dakshina. When you learn something, you must give something in return. Always there is exchange of value. In fact, here the exchange is skewed because you are getting a book that is matchless, but you are giving money that is almost worthless. $4, but the book that will the wealth in the book is so much more, but we're getting for a small price. But it's a good deal actually. So even in the Gurukul, however poor the student is, he used to give Guru Dakshina. And that is the proper way we must give Guru Dakshina. Otherwise, so this is vidhihinam asrishtanam mantrahinam adakshinam Shraddha virahitam yajnam tamasam parichakshate adakshinam. You see, adakshinam means no dakshina. Any sacrifice. Now, even learning knowledge is a sacrifice. A disciple means sacrificing his time for studies of Vedic literature and sacrificing his life for the Guru's service. So, any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of scriptures, without distribution of prasadam, spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations to the priests, this remuneration to the priests, and also to the Guru, even more important than priest, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. So, although it sounds like a sale that we are selling these books, that's for the modern understanding. Oh, you buy a book? Yeah, I should buy a book. But actually, this is a knowledge transfer in which there is Guru Dakshina is also coming and knowledge is being transferred. So, it's a transcendental business. So, there's nothing wrong. And deity worship, he's saying deity worship is idol worship. No, this is not idol worship. That's why before you throw all these words, because you have learned it somewhere, I don't know, some propagandist must have told you all these talking points. Don't just come with those talking points and try to attack. Come here to learn and openly learn with curiosity, not just for making a scene or making an argument. No, come humbly and learn. Take our books, study before you even comment on them. So take a Bhagavad Gita and start reading. Take the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is an 18-volume book. You cannot find a book greater than the Bhagavatam in this world. So read the Bhagavatam, read Chaitanya Charitamrita, read the books all thoroughly. Then you will know what our movement is for. Yeah, as Vishnu said, it's not idol worship, ideal worship. So Richa is saying, Richa Mataji, Hare Krishna, knowledge which leads to our spiritual liberation is truly far superior than money. Yeah. All right, so I think so Govind is saying, book will not feed his wife and kids. Actually, it will. Because Krishna is actually feeding wife and kids. And if he takes a book and reads, then he becomes purified of so much sins in the past. We're not saying give up all your wealth and take books. He can have his wealth. Little bit you give, $20, $25, what is this? So you give, and then, but if you buy a handphone, your wife and kid will be fed. Every person in the house has a handphone, mobile phone, and then your wife and kid will be fed. All the books of Prabhupada together is cheaper than one mobile phone, one iPhone. Okay, don't give me this crap. Okay, so thank you all very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।